there's a simplicity to this story, which I think that was what always appealed to me. Is that as you said, he's making something out of nothing, and it's he's dreaming big even when there's nothing there. And I think, like as you said, I grew up in this kind of town. You never dreamed of doing a job I used to do, but it just shows that if you put your mind to something, be tenacious, you can achieve anything. And that's kind of what the main character of this story does. Just is purposeful, puts his heart and soul into it, and then gets to go and propels himself into like this beautiful dream. But the thing is, the paper plane motifs are kind of nice. It's a nice way in. There's movies like Karate Kid and Searching for Bobby Fischer that are kind of great kind of examples of these movies where the kid is empowering other adults and the kid by doing the simplest of things and the simplest of talents. And it's in that kind of world. In Australia we haven't shot those type of movies. We kind of do dark domestic kind of movies, and there's something about the likeness of this that harks back to like a Storm Boy or something. And I like it's a rarity, and I think that's why I chose to do it. He's only got himself, I think. He's a guy, a young kid that lost his mum. His dad's a bit lost as well, so he's had to kind of grow up pretty quickly. And by doing that, you can kind of either go inwards or you search outwards for kind of a bigger way of looking. I think that's what, to me, that's a great thing to say to kids, that you can achieve anything. You might have the worst situation or the worst home life, but if you just keep driving forward, you can achieve it, and that can in turn turn everyone else's lives around. I like that message. Well, look, I don't want. I thought if it's a kids' film, but I don't talk down to kids. As I said, I've got nephews, and I hate movies that do that. I hate movies that treat an 11-year-old or a 13-year-old as if they're just a kid. They're a young they're a young human. So the more I can kind of look at him as my equal, then the more kind of different journeys in the scenes will happen, and the more more comes out of Ed, the more kind of different colour palette of his personality comes out, and same with mine. That's the kind of respect you should have for another actor, regardless of the age. But I didn't want it to be a stock standard dad. It's written as dad's very anti this and anti that, and I kind of think me and Rob wanted it to be a more kind of rounded character, in the sense of if you've lost someone in your life or you're suffering from certain things, you have your highs and you have your extreme lows, and that kind of home life is very disruptive, and it's kind of sad, and at the same time unpredictable, and that can, the dad's equally more lost than the kid it would ever be. If anything, the roles are reversed. He's the young child in the relationship. I think it's more fun for me to play those kind of extremes and keep Dylan or keep Ed on his toes a bit with not knowing how the scene's going to be, and then what that does, that allows for Ed's journey to go stronger, because he in turn is helping me change, rather than in most of these movies an adult changes a kid. I like it when the kids change the adults. Too many times when you do kids films and the parents are one-dimensional and they're not actually kind of a fully rounded human and a fully rounded relationship. And, that's what me and Ed are trying to build. Any audience to take them on a journey, you don't want them to know what's going to happen next. It doesn't matter if it's a thriller or a paper planes movie. We don't want to know whether the kid wins or whether he loses or what happens. We don't want to know, we've pegged the dad straight away. You want to keep the audience guessing, so they keep in tune. That was what I kind of wanted to bring to it. I don't think Ed's starting out. I think Ed's been here before. I think as an actor, he's obviously had a career in some past life, because he's very in tune. He listens. Acting's pretty easy. It's just listening to the other person and responding accordingly. And he does that better than most adult actors I've worked with. He doesn't get locked in. It's creative and he's fun to work with. That's what you want. He's a kid. He is a kid. You kind of forget that because his body of work's now building. So he's been growing up on film sets. So his his awareness of the craft and awareness of what goes on is extreme. But essentially, he's still a kid. He's still running around making jokes and doing little pranks and stuff like that. And I encourage that. The more you encourage that kind of mischief on a film set, the better it is for me as a dad to pull him in the line. That's the thing. I phoned Rob up about this project. I read it online. He was going to do a movie called Paper Planes with the synopsis, and I thought that's a winner. Don't know why. You never know what. No one knows what movie will work and doesn't work. You got to go off your instincts. And then me and Rob's relationship started forming over the years. We tried to get up and work on other projects, and this happens to be the first one that we're going to do together. So he's just a current force. He knows what he wants in his head, but he's also willing to be adaptable to whatever the situation arises. He said that he used to be very kind of on point and know, this is how it's going to look, this is the performance I want, this is the scene how I want it to run. He didn't find he was having much fun. So when you suddenly start getting surprised by what the actors are doing and where you can place the camera, and you're a bit more kind of open to the world, that's lends itself to much more creativity and much more ease and much more collaborative feel. And I think then he in turn has more fun, which means we have more fun. That's what it's about. It's different. I've done it a couple of times. It has its positives and it has its negatives, but it's the positives far outweigh it because you're not you're not doing an idea for a scene that later on you go, I wish I could do it now, because you want each scene to be different and reveal a piece of the character along the way. Yeah, well, we're still rewriting that. We're still trying to figure out what to do with this last scene. So I've always liked this idea of a son helping a dad. I think that's kind of a good thing. Rob's got some kids. He told me what he loved when we were discussing that. He loved the fact that a movie could sell to his daughters, see, you can have a positive influence on your parents. They're not just there to ground you and tell you to go to school. You actually have you can actually help them sometimes. I love that. The process is whether it's a small, windy Aussie film or a massive Hollywood blockbuster. I find it all the same. You just have bigger toys, man.